Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week, and this is episode 303. So let's get started. This actually was a pretty light haul, but next week is gonna be a really big haul, so it evens out. So this week was 10 books. Next week I have about 20 books, which used to be my average, but now is a very heavy haul for me. So let's get started. Number 10 for me is, sadly, Powers of X issue 3. Again, didn't have that many books this week, but this is a book I can't quite get into as much as everyone else. I really want to, but Hickman is just not really quite my style. But I really loved House of X issue 2, and I kind of wish every issue was like that. That made my top 5. But here, once again, the stuff I enjoyed the most was Moira, and that's towards the end, even though the whole issue builds up towards that ending. I just don't quite care about any of the other characters, so it just doesn't make me as interested in the full narrative. But the artwork is good for this book, and I am hoping to enjoy more issues to come. Like I said, if it's more character-driven, I think I'll enjoy it more, just like that House of X issue 2 issue. But just not feeling the world right now, not feeling the execution for the book. So overall, I'm going to give Powers of X issue 3 2 stars. So that is number 10. And I got the Scotty Young variant for that. Moving on to number 9, which is Batman, issue 77. It's actually the only DC book I got this week, but next week I think I have like 5 or 6, so a couple more is coming out. But Batman, I actually saw a review for this, and I 100% agree, where they said, if you've been liking Tom King's Batman, you'll continue to like this issue, and if you haven't, then you probably won't. And for me, I really like Tom King's run up to Catwoman's wedding, and in Batman's non-wedding, I guess. And I remember when the issue came out, I actually really enjoyed issue 50, and I'm like, forget the naysayers. I think this is going to be a great series, even if they do break up. I understand why they broke up. And then for me, everything really did go downhill after. It became very slow, the pacing, and I just didn't really like the build-up as much for the book, and that's been my overall problem. Yes, there's a big thing that happens here in this issue, and I will say the spoiler once we get there, but the build-up towards it didn't quite make it as impactful. It felt like it was just there for the shock value, and that's disappointing. But I am curious to see where the title is going to go after this. So the thing that does happen is that Alfred's neck gets broken by Bane. So does he die? We'll have to see, but it's Alfred, so you never know. And again, it just felt more shock value. Okay, we're showing that Bane is a big villain, which we already know. But how did Alfred get there? Where is this going to lead? So, and again, I wish we got to see the build-up of Bane coming into power and manipulating Flashpoint Batman, where I feel like it's just been shown to us, but not really explained to us. And that's been a big problem for me. The artwork, on the other hand, is gorgeous. I love the art. I think there are 2 artists on here. I believe it's Janin and Tony S. Daniel. But honestly, I didn't even notice the difference. I really feel like it went really smoothly. So yeah, it actually is both of them that did the artwork. But it really worked here. They kind of had similar tones. And the artwork, the coloring really worked. Now, going into Catwoman and Batman, if you've seen Dark Knight Rises, which I'm sure you have, they play off of that. They're in Paris enjoying themselves. But once again, I feel like the build-up towards that was weird. I know that Batman throughout this whole entire time is like, oh my god, no, my life is ruined. Catwoman's not here. Batman's been wallowing in his own pain as usual. But, Catwoman sings a French song and now they're able to talk. It just feels really weird and very quick, even though it's taking so long to get here. The actual things they do here doesn't quite build up to what we have, which is this interaction. Batman is down on the dumps, and it allows Catwoman to talk and to kind of open herself up again. And I feel like that's weird. I feel like Batman would be like, you left me at the altar, like, let's have a conversation. And I wouldn't say let Catwoman talk, but I mean that he just lets her manipulate her way into the relationship again after, again, she left. And then all the things that we did get to see interaction with Catwoman and Batman, it was in his head. So it's not like they've actually had a conversation with each other. So I feel like the point being, I think a lot of things happen really quickly. And I don't think they deserve to be in the spot of them being comfortable with each other at this point. And even having this conversation and sitting for dinner or sitting for lunch in Paris. It feels weird to me. So just kind of wish the build-up was better. And yeah, Batman issue 77 gets 2.5 stars. But we'll see where that cliffhanger goes. I hope we get to see some more of the Bat family. And again, some more reasonable explanation for Catwoman and Batman to be together, because we know there is a series coming up that's called Catwoman and Batman. So, which I'm actually interested in, because again, I think the series was at its best when they were together. Alright, moving on to number 8. I really enjoyed all these books, so those are only 2 I didn't quite like this week, and that is Smooth Criminals, issue 8. I enjoyed this. This is the finale, it looks like, which I didn't know, because on previews it says it's a maxi series, it's 12 issues, so I was a little confused that this was ending, and I didn't know it was going to be the ending yet, but overall, I liked it. I enjoyed this book a lot. I liked their friendship between the 2 main characters. I kind of wish we got to see even more of it between Mia and Brenda. Like, I feel like it was more about the mission than anything, but I want to see a little bit more heart-to-heart. But I like where they ended up. We get to see Brenda as part of the FBI, which is cool, and it looks like they'll be working together even more. So I'll miss this book if it is actually ending. It is a really fun one, so if you're looking for a cool espionage book, definitely go pick this one up. So Smooth Criminals, issue 8, gets 3.5 stars, and that is number 8. Wow, okay, so that's a lot of 8s. So number 8 is issue 8 of Smooth Criminals. Alright, moving on to number 7, which is Teen Titans, issue 35. And overall, this has been a pretty solid series for me. I really like the cliffhanger of this book more than anything. We get to see some old school Teen Titans villains that they go up against. I'm like, this kind of feels fillerish. And then we find out why it's fillerish, and Damian's plan of how to manipulate or control these villains, literally with the Djinn's powers of making them good. And this is Damian's way of saving the world, and it's a really twisted way, and I'm curious to see where the moral aspect of this all goes and the ethical questions that come up with it. So I thought it was a really cool lead up to where this series could go, and also the team not really trusting each other. I'm still not a big fan of the artwork. I still think it's a bit bulky, but overall I like the story, and like I said, I think this is a good setup to some interesting storylines to come. So I gave this 3.5 stars, and that is number 7. Moving on to number 6, finally a bit higher than usual, and that is Ms. Marvel, issue 6. And as you guys know, I didn't really like the previous arc because it was not in Jersey City. That's where Ms. Marvel really shines, and I didn't think the series should start out not in Jersey City with a new creative team. The first time there has been a new creative team for Ms. Marvel. So I do think it's starting to settle back in, where we get to see Ms. Marvel deal with this villain that's calling her out, which I didn't quite like the villain, but I liked everything surrounding it. I like that Kamala's dealing with her dad's illness, and her trying to call her friends and calling Iron Man to talk about this. And I like seeing her interact with their friends and just being back at Jersey City, dealing with the whole secret identity stuff, and her parents not knowing that she's Ms. Marvel anymore. So what's happening here? So overall, I thought it was a pretty solid issue. Like I said, the villain I think could have been a bit stronger. I think they do have some filler pages in this issue, but overall, I thought this is a much better issue than what we've been getting. So Ms. Marvel issue 6 gets 3.5 stars, and that is number 6, I believe. Moving on to number 5, which is Avant-Guards, issue 7. And this is just a really fun basketball sports book. And it really showcases, I guess, the sports elements here, or at least showcasing that it's a sports story, where we get to see Olivia, one of the main characters, is really upset that she lost a game, which I think went a little overboard. But I guess because she's so happy, you have to have the other extreme when something bad happens. And it's the rest of the team trying to figure out, all right, how do we make her happy? And most of the issue is just them watching sports movies and giving commentary on it, which I had a lot of fun with, because especially like female sport movies, there's not a lot out there, so it was nice to see them commentate on like the 5 that do exist and their thoughts on it. So I had a fun time with this one. Again, it's a cool slice of life book, and if you enjoy sports narratives or just again day-to-day type of storylines, I think you'll enjoy this one, especially if you liked heavy vinyl and enjoyed that voice. So the Avant-Guards issue 7 gets 4 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is Jughead's Time Police issue 3. This cover is amazing. You have like kind of the Infinity War thing going on that cover, so I thought that was pretty cool, and the different versions of Jughead. My cover of the week. And overall, it's just a really fun book. We get to see Jughead of a different time period, who's more of a smug version, and then our present Jughead interacting with each other, but our present Jughead trying to run from the Time Police. And he meets up with his future Cable-looking self at the end of the issue. So will he end up helping him? What's going to go on there? So a lot of fun. I think there's some really cool jokes that land. I love Derek Charm's artwork. I think it really fits for this modern tale of Archie, but still feeling a bit classic at the same time, especially when you have a classic looking Jughead here. Again, my only nitpick is like, was Jughead really this smug in the 1980s? I personally didn't read the books. I don't know, but I just thought, oh, this doesn't really feel like Jughead, but overall, it's a lot of fun. I love the time-traveling antics, and if you enjoy just playing with tropes and this character in general, it's a really fun comedy book. So, Jughead's Time Police issue 3 gets 4 stars, and that is number 4. Moving on to number 3, these are all 4.5-star books. I really enjoyed all of them. So, number 3 for me, though, is Valkyrie, issue 2. I love this book. This is honestly a perfect book in many ways. And here, I felt like issue 1 was the perfect premiere. This is the perfect action issue. And with this issue, we get to see full-on Valkyrie trying to fight Bullseye and what that means. And I think the creative team does a really good job, A, at showcasing her powers, because this is a new book, so we don't fully know what her powers can do. So we get to see that, but also Jane's empathy and how that controls the narrative. And overall, it's just a really great book. My only reason that's number 3 compared to the others, it's a bit of a slower issue because it's just all action. But I think if you're doing a full-on action issue, this is exactly how to do it. And it really is perfection in a lot of ways. So I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. And the artwork, again, is just out of this world. The storytelling is really out of this world. And if you're not reading Valkyrie, pick this up. It's legit one of Marvel's best books right now. So, and also I love Jane Foster. So it's really cool to see such a great creative team on the book. So I'm going to give that 4.5 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, which is Snotgirl, issue 14. As you guys know, I love this book, and it doesn't come out as often as I would like, but honestly, it's a book I never forget what the last thing happened, because it's that involved, and it's okay to take those breaks because of it. But with this issue, we get a lot of, I guess, hidden secrets revealed. Stuff that as an audience member we knew and stuff we didn't know because we're in the point of view of Lottie, our, I still think, unreliable narrator who is Lottie. But yeah, with this issue, we get to see kind of like a B-list character or a very, very supporting character, which is Ashley, which is Norm Girl's fiance, who's been kind of the jerk and just always talks about his Zord. And we finally find out why he always likes talking about his Zord. And he's in love with, or at least likes, his old friend. And he ends up kissing him, and his friend, who is a guy, ends up dying because of Cool Girl's brother. There's so much drama going on. But obviously, we saw that coming. If you've been reading the book, I think you saw that coming. Not the death, but, him being gay or, being queer. But, yeah, really interested to see where that story goes. And I really enjoyed the narrative and dialogue that went with it. And then on the flip side, we do get to see Lottie dealing with having everyone know that she has snot coming down her nose, and also her being kind of in a relationship with Cool Girl, and Cool Girl obviously just being the big bitch that she is, and just leaving her. After everything that's happened, this is not a good relationship. She's not a good person, and she just leaves her, and Lottie is just stuck saying, alright, I'm gonna take a vacation off social media and not talk to anybody, as the feed of, okay, my relationship's out, and when she didn't want the relationship to be out, And also, her snot is out. So there's a lot going on. And then even the reveal of her social media handles, or really real life handles for her friends, comes out. And not everyone's happy about their names here. So Norm Girl especially has a little bit of a secret to tell Lottie, saying, hey, I'm not so normal. I'm not so basic as you think. I have some drama too, and it's that she hooked up with cool girls. So how's Lottie gonna react to that? First of all, she likes this girl, but she again is not a good person. So Lottie's trying to figure out a lot of stuff about herself in a pretty toxic environment, and that's kind of what the whole book's about, obviously. So yeah, I think it plays, once again, blends this illusion of social media really well, like what's real and what's not when social media is involved. What does this mean for our own personal identities? And I think it just does a beautiful job at that, and not just showcasing Lottie's story, but everyone's story here, especially Ashley, and how Lottie's supporting cast is affected by this. And then you have this a mystery of murders going on, and you don't really know why, and it's amazing, and I love it. So yeah, Snotgirl issue 14, great book, and if you're not reading Snotgirl, I recommend it. It's awesome. It's one of my favorites. So I gave that 4.5 stars, and then it's number 2. Moving on to number 1, which is Ghost Spider issue 1, and my only nitpick of this book is, honestly, I don't think it needed to be a new series. I don't think we needed to go into Ghost Spider. I don't think it's very new reader friendly, but I'm not a new reader, and I really enjoyed this as someone who was reading, obviously, all Spider-Gwen, but especially this creative team's run on Spider-Gwen already. And I think it's really owns into what makes Spider-Man's mythos so great, and Gwen's mythos so great, where I think Gwen does a good job at being original, but still sticking to, again, the spider mythos and even some of the tropes that come along with the spider mythos. And that really comes with the ending here. And the ending is that we get to see that Jackal is, from Earth 65, is watching our Gwen. So if you guys don't know the history of Jackal, he's the guy who cloned all those people and utilized Gwen as a science experiment throughout her college years. So yeah, there's a lot of history there. And that's what's kind of cool about this book too, is that we really embraced the Gwen Stacy of the 616 as well, because Gwen went to this school. So we're really getting to see, again, our Earth 65 version living this life in a different way. And I also liked how they kind of walked around that the school actually does know that she's from an alternate universe and that she had to get like all these papers situated. I really enjoyed that. The kind of small moments of her figuring herself out and, you know, figuring out her life. And really what this book is that she has, you know, normally a commute. You know, she's trying to be a young adult, trying to figure out what to do with her life. And she kind of has to leave her old life to do that. But also she has like 2 feet in Earth 65 and also in the 616. So I love that. I love that analogy of this, like, you know, this ultimate commute that she has to take. And it's a really cool first issue. But also we do get to see some Earth 65 stuff, like I said, with Captain Stacy returning to work. And we get to see JJ's son getting out of jail possibly because of JJ. So there's a lot of drama happening there that Gwen's gonna have to deal with when she's not at school. And then I liked a lot of the character interactions as well, as that we don't really get to see as much, like Peter and Gwen, and Peter just trying to be a good friend and a good support system, as Gwen is, again, dealing with this really big life change, which is going to college, and seeing how that affects her life and her relationships with other people, as we get to see with her band as well, where her bandmates are like, hey, sure, you can go to college, but you're gonna be in a whole different dimension, so we can't contact you at all. So I'm curious to see where that's gonna go. But overall, like I said, I think the balance between Earth 65 and the 616 was really well done here. And that was what I was nervous about with this book. I'm like, oh, are they only gonna focus on the 616, or are they transitioning Gwen into the 616 like they did with Miles? But no, it still embraces her other world as well. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, and overall, I love the artwork as well. I'm glad that they kept the same creative team. It's the same artist that did Miss Marvel for a little while, and I really think it fits the tone of Gwen really well. So, yeah, overall, a lot of fun. I will, again, say, if you haven't read Spider-Gwen, I recommend you read the previous volume before getting into this, because especially, like, the JJ stuff, it might get a little confusing if you haven't read that volume. It truly does continue from that series. So overall, I'm going to give Ghost Spider issue 1 4.5 stars, and that is my pick of the week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Definitely go check out my comics like Father Like Daughter and They Call Her Dancer. Go check out my social media, Twitter and Facebook. And also every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time is Frontline Live, where we discuss our favorite comics and comic book news. So be sure to check that out as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.